Hello, I'm CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Do come check us out. So, if you're on vacation or whatever, that's cool. Who knows? You never know. I might be passing through your neighborhood one day. It's a smaller world than what we think. Okay, so let's play a guessing game. I am I'm a food. I'm a food that just anybody who has eaten me has loved me in one form or another. I come in many forms. I'm yeah. So, yeah. But I'm also very poisonous. If not, yeah, yeah. You catch me at the wrong time. Very poisonous. So, what am I? Ooh. I'm giving you a second to think that one over, and then I'll give you the answer. Ready? One. Okay, time's up. Um, okay, so the answer is I'm a potato. Look, avoid sprouted potatoes and green potatoes. Note, green potatoes are poisonous, so cut off any green bits or try to avoid green potatoes in the first place. So here's the thing about a potato. It's like any vegetable. It's like a lot of things, a lot of different types of food. Um, I'm going to get up here and look at the nutrition stuff in a minute. But yeah, the thing about potato, I'm all about potatoes, because I have a potato and cheeseburger casserole, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't screwing up too much. So anyway, that's cool. And it turns out I'm not. But like with most vegetables, and even with some meats and dairy products or whatever, if you don't consume them at their peak time, uh, they can become toxic. You know, eating them before they're ready or after they're ready to be consumed can be very bad. Uh, so don't eat green skinned potatoes. And that doesn't mean peel the skin. I guess they said peel the skin off or avoid the green skin in the first place. I'm going to go with like avoiding the green skin. Okay, so it's so weird though, because I have had like potato blends where like some of them maybe a little bit on the greenish side, but whatever. I guess but really, God, where did I learn how to talk? I'm supposed to be articulate, and I really do stumble and uh, tongue twist. But you know what? Just because I sometimes have a stammer does not mean that I'm unintelligent. That's going to be important to know because that's going to be a topic of conversation people are going to be talking about. We know what I'm talking about. But anyway, nutritional information. A half a cup of potatoes, boiled, skin on, contains approximately 68 calories, 1.5 grams of protein, zero point 0.1 gram of fat, 15.7 gram of carbohydrates. I got a feeling that the fiber and the sugar are included in that 15.7, but either way, fiber, if you can deduct fiber, that is great. And uh, because that, when you consume fiber, it's a digestive aid and it passes through the body. It doesn't add nutrient. The one exception to a sugar, you should reduce sugars and stuff. But the one thing about sugar, if you have an alcohol sugar, uh, then that alcohol sugar is not counted among your net carbs because it does not uh, provide nutrient to the body. It actually passes through and aids in digestion. Uh, so funny. But that's when that sugar is binded to molecules of alcohol, which you shouldn't uh, uh, excessively consume alcohol because, yeah, that's bad for you. So anyway, yeah, it's good to read labels. I was walking around thinking about my cheeseburger casserole, and oh my God, was I totally destroying myself? Turns out I'm not. One thing that you want to do though, if you potassium, You want to have an appropriate amount of potassium in your body. You don't want to have too much potassium. Too much potassium, not great for the kidneys, right? Um, all of this stuff is a balance, you know. Um, it is better to consume food uh, in smaller amounts throughout the day instead of three large meals. It's better to have smaller meals. And what I do is a keto diet plan. So, what I want to do for the most part, if I can get away with it, and I think on most days I do, I'm pretty good about this. Oh, I love this before I get to talking about the keto. Um, so, when it comes to phytonutrients, potatoes do vary, uh, or they differ by variety. I like it the way I said it, they vary. If you want to maximize your vitamins and minerals, try colored potatoes. Red fleshed or purple fleshed potatoes are comparable to Brussels sprouts, blueberries, or spinach. Brussels sprouts and spinach, yes. Blueberries, I have to pass on that, you know. Not really a berry person. Okay, so, yeah, a few years ago, and it wasn't really that long ago, it almost seems fresh in my memory, even. It's the first time I went to my primary care physician, and because I just changed over to him, and he just happened to be working out of a um, diabetic clinic, and he specialized in diabetics. He was able to. It was a priority. Hey, let's look at this. You know, this is what he does. You know, so he did that, and it's like, oh no, 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 you're diabetic. You know, and I'm not a big guy, but I was, you know, whatever. But yeah, so 7.8 was my A1C, which is not the most horrendous number in the world, but it was alarming to me. Um, A1C and blood sugar, basically, it's kind of like this. It's a snowball, and the higher it gets, the faster those numbers climb, and the larger those numbers are, the worse they are. The worse, you know, it's accumulative and picks up momentum and speed, and it's honestly it frightened me. I had never like, yeah, that was like cool. So I went home with the panic, really, and a depression. Oh my God, am I gonna lay up in this apartment? Is this what my life is going to be? I'm going to be in this apartment, me and whatever kind of food I'm eating, and then I'm just going to get more and more diabetic until I die. Will I end up losing limbs? You know, due to diabetes? Yeah, a lot of fear, a lot of depression, a lot of sadness, a lot of worry. Would I have the willpower to do what I have to do? Because they told me one magical thing. They said that my condition was type 2 diabetes, and the conditions, the blood, they essentially said it was reversible. That's the word that they used. It's reversible. Oh, it's reversible? Fine. If you've ever had a conversation with me and we disagree, you will know that I have a tenacity, and I will dig into it, and I will find uh, where honesty lies in any issue. Um, I'm stubborn in that way, and so that's what I did. I took that fervor, that tenacity, that intensity, uh, that will to be correct and scientific, and I also took that and I put it, you know, I coupled it with faith, because I prayed to God as I understood God, and I asked God to, okay, this is where I am. Please fill me with, fill these emotions and this willpower. Please give it the power of longevity. Please help me do what I have to do. Let me find the appropriate diet for myself. Let me do something. that's physical, you know. So I had the idea, okay, well, what I need to do is I need to be animated. I need to kind of stay in motion, not be sedentary. If I have, because I was at this time, I was having like, and I still have to be careful of it. I have a misalignment in my back, and so every once in a while, you know, I would have like a sore back, and maybe a one time I was trying to move some furniture around uh, a room that I was subletting at one point, and I threw my back out. I mean, it was that kind of thing. Like, oh my God, I threw my back out. I need someone to pop me, you know, whatever. So that stemmed from a car accident that I had that kind of left me with uh, you know, some chronic back pain. But yeah, what I did was I kind of spent a day or so and I allowed myself to feel and process. And then I told myself, you know, enough of this. I got to do something. So what I did was I got up and I went around town and I went to my favorite places where I like to eat, and I experienced whatever kind of food that I wanted to experience, and I did it guilt free. If I wanted to go get a chocolate, you know, shake, you know, I went out and I had that, and I did that. I allowed myself to do that for the rest of that week. It was about 3 days. So I basically got, you know, the news from my doctor, went home for a couple of days, and then for 3 days. So basically, for about 5 days, it took me to get to this process. And then once I kind of sampled everything that I wanted to sample, make sure I wasn't gonna, you know, really be hurting for it. You know what I mean? Kind of like save the, you know. Then what I did was I started a keto diet, strict, you would not believe, boneless, skinless chicken breast. And I allowed herbs, you know, but any kind of herbs or seasoning, I checked labels and I made sure that there weren't hidden sugars in the blend. Powders, finely processed powders, you're going to find a lot of, you'll find a lot of hidden uh, salts in particular, but which help you retain water. But you can also find some hidden sugars in there, you know, depending upon. So you want to watch those types of blends, you know. But um, yeah. So fresh cut. If you can't do fresh cut, then dehydrated green herbs are better. You can get a lot of flavor from that, and it actually those herbs will help as refuge in the digestion process. So it's, you know, depending upon. So um, garlic, good, you know. Um, yeah. So yeah. I'm just sitting here looking, and there's a bit here that says, "Do not confuse potatoes with sweet potatoes. Are actually two different vegetables from different plant families." I think a sweet potato, I think it's actually closer to a gourd or something like that. Like it's, yeah, uh, like a closer to a squash or something than an actual potato, which explains why sweet potato is not my favorite potato. Okay, so uh, yeah, russets are good. I like Gold's potatoes. Whatever. Uh, blah blah blah. But anyway, I got on this keto thing. Okay, so a keto diet in a day on a regular day means 800 calories. The reason why 800 for me is because when I want to reduce, I want my body to consume the calories that's in storage. That's my fat, and you really don't want to, you know, you don't want to crash diet and just like whatever. But yeah, 800 grams, 800 calories. I'm sorry, 800 calories, and no more than 50 grams of carbs in a 24-hour period. And I say that my carb count, my numbers, everything, they start over at midnight. I have always been nocturnal since I was a boy. I don't know why. I would lay at night and I would just be awake. I was like, okay, And then, of course, I do not enjoy waking up in the morning. Of course, when you're younger, you can get away with just a few hours of sleep. But yeah, today it's like, no, I'll sleep into the morning. But it's just, yeah, I've always had that, you know. Uh, when I was a little kid, I wasn't even in school. Like it was, like maybe I was 4 years old. I remember lying in my bed and having a sense of, and I had no idea about anything. I just had a sense of motion, of very, very careful um, moving. I didn't know the word inertia, but I was feeling it. I think it felt like, oh my God, I'm turning. Everything is moving in a circle. Uh, I knew that. I was like, and I didn't know anything about space or how time works or whatever. I could feel that. You know what I mean? Have you ever had that moment where you can just kind of like feel, um, and why not, right? I mean, the moon and the tide and everything that we go on. I mean, that moves the ocean. Uh, you know, all these little things. The effects of the gravity of the moon plus our. We talk about inertia and everything. We're really talking about uh, turning and moving. It's a combination of inertia and gravity. Of orbit. You know, and I had this awareness in my being about all that. And I was like, maybe I was 4 years old. And isn't it beautiful to feel something like that? That very first time that you have an awareness of something bigger than you. You know, I'm not the center of anything, but I am connected to everything. And I had that sense. Anyway, we're talking about this is why okay, let me just say at this point, I'm not a nutritionalist, nor am I an astronomer or an astrologer. Don't come to me for any critical advice. But for me, I decided that I did have the willpower and I had the longevity. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take this diet, 800 calories. That's my budget. It's like I'm used to living on a fixed income. So it's like, here's my budget and this is what I can spend and this is what I cannot spend. And that's that. When it's gone, it's gone. So I made myself that regimented. And then I also put myself on a regimen of, okay, be in motion, sway. Don't break your back or anything like that, but walk. If I'm sitting down, it's okay to move. It's okay, whatever. Keep a lot of music on. Keep a lot of music going on in my head. When I don't have music on, hum tunes inside of my head and kind of pop my fingers and be in sync with that. If I can't do anything but this, hey, you know, um, be an animated person. Be an upbeat, happy person. And those two things, staying in motion and then watching my diet and then knowing with the keto diet, what you have to do is you want to get to a ketosis. That's great. What you don't want to do is you don't want to screw around and take it too far, because then you run the risk of, health issues and stuff like that. So every few days you got to break from the diet. So what I did was, every so often I'll fast throughout the day. I take like a 24-hour fast, but I only do that once every couple of weeks, you know. Um, but those are the days when I'm a kind of a nocturnal person and everything like that. And the days that I decide, hey, this is the day that I'm gonna crash and catch up on all my sleep. all within this time. Basically, those are the days that I try to choose my fasting days. The days when I'm going to end up, yeah, mostly sleeping anyway. So I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss most of the fast. The experience of it. So there are ways to reach a compromise with lifestyle changes, and you find a way to make it work for you. But the important thing, we have to keep ourselves healthy uh, for the people that love us and for the people that we love. We want to be our best selves, our best healthy selves. Um, Sometimes things are unavoidable, right? There are health conditions, as we know, that are unavoidable no matter what. But then there are complications, health complications that are very avoidable. And education and application is key. So educate about the diets, nutrition, not so much the diet as in the machination of this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm not going to do, but educate yourself on what's inside of your food and how much of your food should be eating. And I'm going to be honest with you, um, if what I want to eat is a potato, well, you know what that means. That means less food in the day. If I have something that has potato in it, for the most part, that means, well, that's great, but I eat less of it, um, which is great because a potato is very satiating and enduring in the body. It will fill you up, and it's something that will stick to your bones, and it will do it remarkably well on just about 15 to 16 grams of carbs, you know, and you eat about 2 or 3 servings of that throughout the day, and it's probably more than what you need if you actually took it and broke it down. So if you're going to eat a potato or something like that, just be careful not to eat too much potato all at one time. So a half a cup of potato that fills up the bowl. I made a bowl of this cheeseburger casserole, and I had some of it. There probably wasn't a cup of potato in there. And I know this because I used 6 potatoes to make that full pot, and the rest of it is beef and cheese and non-sugary, non-starchy components. So I feel that's a very healthy type of casserole that you can enjoy many different flavors, and it's okay. So that's cool. Pat myself on the back. I would do the gesture of patting myself on the back, except I'm not front facing the camera. So uh, what they need to do is they need to do a phone in which I can go back and forth between cameras. Um, that would be cool, right? Like if I could be sitting here and looking at my tablet screen, and then um, switch the angle of the camera. That would be kick ass. It would really help in production. I need to find some. First off, I need to get a decent laptop because I don't have one. And then what I can do is I can work with uh, editing software by setting up a couple of cameras or devices that have recordable devices, and then I can do these little talks there, and then I can edit them. Uh, but I think part of what I like about what I do is that it's not overly produced. It's really not. Sometimes if I get to go on one of these videos and I stumble on what I'm saying, say, oh, I stuttered too much at one point at the beginning, then maybe I'll stop and say, screw that, I'll start over, I'll do it. I know what I want to say, and maybe I can make it a little bit smoother. But yeah, some little Einstein in the back. Where did I get that from? I think my friend Lucy gave me that a long time ago. Okay, anyway, I love you guys. Love and light. Peace. Good night.